The world tilted when my twin brother, Ethan, leaned across the diner table, his eyes glinting with a secret that could ruin us both. "Pretend to be me tonight," he whispered, his voice a blade slicing through the hum of chatter and clinking plates. I froze, my burger halfway to my mouth, as the weight of his words sank in. We were identical, down to the freckle on our left cheek, but Ethan always carried the charm I lacked. Growing up in the sleepy town of Ashwood, Pennsylvania, we were the Caldwell twins. Two halves of a whole, inseparable yet impossibly different. Ethan was the golden boy, the quarterback with a smile that disarmed everyone. I was Lucas, the quiet one, always sketching in the margins of my notebook, content to let him shine. But that night, in the neon glow of Rosie's diner, Ethan's request wasn't about swapping places for a prank. It was about something deeper, something dangerous. "I can't keep lying to him," Ethan said, his voice low, urgent. "He thinks I'm straight, Lucas. He thinks I'm a guy he's been seeing for weeks. But I'm not. I can't be that for him. Not anymore." His eyes darted to the window, where the streetlights flickered against the dusk. "You're better at this. You've always been you." The him was Noah Harper, the new guy in town who'd turned heads since arriving last summer. Noah, with his sharp jawline and quiet intensity, had been Ethan's secret for months, a secret our conservative town would never accept. Ashwood wasn't a place for boys who love boys. Not in 2015. Not with the church on every corner and whispers that could ruin lives. Ethan had been sneaking out to meet Noah, pretending to be the perfect son at home while unraveling in private. But now, he was crumbling under the weight of his double life, and he wanted me to step into it. "Why me?" I asked, my throat tight. "Why can't you just tell him the truth?" "Because I'm a coward," Ethan admitted, his voice breaking. "And you're not. You've always known who you are, Lucas. You've never hidden it from me." He was right. I come out to him 2 years ago, in the safety of our shared bedroom, my heart pounding as I confessed I liked guys. Ethan had hugged me, promised to keep my secret, but he never admitted his own. Not until now. The plan was simple, he said. Noah was waiting at the lake, their usual spot, expecting Ethan. All I had to do was go, act like Ethan, and break things off gently. "Tell him I'm not ready," Ethan said. "Make it clean. He'll move on." But the way his hands shook betrayed the lie. This wasn't about breaking up. It was about Ethan running from himself. I should have said no. I should have walked away. But Ethan's eyes, so like my own, pleaded with a desperation I couldn't ignore. So I agreed, slipping into his jacket, mimicking his swagger, and heading to the lake under a sky bruised with twilight. The lake was a mirror, reflecting the stars and my own nervous face as I approached Noah. He sat on a blanket, his silhouette sharp against the water, a bottle of soda in his hand. "Ethan," he called, his voice warm and my stomach twisted. He thought I was my brother. Up close, Noah was even more striking. Dark hair falling into his eyes, a smile that felt like a secret meant just for me. But it wasn't for me. It was for Ethan. "Hey," I said, channeling Ethan's confidence, though my heart hammered. "We need to talk." Noah's smile faltered. "What's wrong?" he asked, standing, his eyes searching mine. I recited Ethan's script, telling him it wasn't working, that Ethan wasn't ready for this. But Noah stepped closer, his gaze too sharp, too knowing. "You're not Ethan," he said softly, and my world stopped. "Ow," I started, but he cut me off. "Your hands," he said, glancing at my fingers, smudged with charcoal from sketching. "Ethan's don't look like that." He stepped closer, his voice dropping. "And your eyes, they're different. Softer." My breath caught. He wasn't angry. He was curious. I should have left then, confessed the ruse, but something in Noah's gaze held me there. We talked, first about Ethan, then about me. I told him things I'd never told anyone, how I dreamed of art school, how I felt trapped in Ashwood's small-minded streets. Noah listened, really listened, and for the first time I felt seen, not as Ethan's shadow, but as Lucas. By the time the moon was high, we were sitting side by side, our shoulders brushing, the air electric with something neither of us named. "I like you," Noah said, his voice barely a whisper, and my heart ignited. I wanted to tell him I liked him too, but Ethan's shadow loomed over us. This wasn't my moment. It was stolen. When I got home, Ethan was waiting, his face pale. "Did you do it?" he asked. I nodded, unable to meet his eyes, the lie burning my throat. I hadn't ended things. I'd started something instead, something that could destroy us all. The next morning, guilt gnawed at me like a splinter under my skin. I betrayed Ethan, not by breaking his trust, but by wanting what was his. Noah's words, "I like you," echoed in my head, a melody I couldn't shake as I sat across from Ethan at breakfast, his eyes searching mine for answers I couldn't give. "You okay?" he asked, pushing his cereal around. Our parents were already gone, Dad to the hardware store, Mom to her church group, leaving us in the quiet of our split-level home. I nodded, but my hands betrayed me, trembling as I gripped my coffee mug. Ethan didn't notice. He was too caught up in his own relief, thinking I'd ended things with Noah. But I hadn't. I'd only made it worse. At school, Ashwood High buzzed with its usual chaos, lockers slamming, gossip swirling, but all I could see was Noah. He was in the courtyard, sketching something in a notebook, his dark hair catching the morning light. My heart lurched. I should have avoided him, but my feet moved before my brain could stop them. "Lucas," he said, looking up, his smile soft but guarded. No one else called me by my name so easily, not when Ethan's shadow always loomed larger. "I was hoping you'd show up." "We can't do this," I said, my voice low, glancing around for prying eyes. Ashwood wasn't safe for secrets like ours. What happened last night, it was a mistake. Was it? Noah closed his notebook, standing to meet my gaze. "You didn't feel like Ethan out there. You felt like you." His words hit like a punch, unraveling the walls I'd built to keep my feelings locked away. I wanted to argue, to tell him he was wrong, but the truth was I'd felt more alive in those hours by the lake than I ever had in 17 years. Before I could respond, Ethan appeared, his arms slinging around my shoulder like nothing was wrong. "Hey, Noah," he said, his grin all charm, but I saw the flicker of unease in his eyes. He didn't know Noah had figured out the switch, and I wasn't about to tell him. Not here, not now. Noah played along, his smile tight. "Hey, Ethan. Good to see you." The air crackled with tension, a silent battle none of us could name. Ethan dragged me away, talking about football practice, but I felt Noah's eyes on me, a promise of something unfinished. That night, I couldn't sleep. Ethan's snores filled our shared room, but my mind was with Noah, his laugh, his touch, the way he saw me. I slipped out, grabbing my sketchbook, and drove to the lake. It was reckless, but I needed to draw to pour out the chaos in my chest. When I got there, Noah was already waiting, as if he'd known I'd come. "You didn't tell him," Noah said, not a question. I shook my head, sitting beside him on the same blanket from last night. "Why not?" "Because I'm scared," I admitted, my voice raw. "Ethan's my brother, my twin. If I take you, it's like I'm stealing his life." Noah reached for my hand, his fingers warm against mine, and for a moment, the world felt right. But it wasn't. The next day, Ethan cornered me in the locker room, his face pale. "Noah called me," he said, his voice shaking. "He asked why I sent you to break up with him." "Lucas, what the hell did you do?" My stomach dropped. The truth was out, and there was no going back. Ethan's words hung between us, sharp and accusing, in the damp air of the locker room. I opened my mouth to explain, but nothing came out. How could I tell my twin I'd fallen for the guy he'd sent me to reject? "You were supposed to end it," Ethan hissed, his voice low to avoid the ears of teammates changing nearby. "Not whatever you did." His eyes, so like mine, burned with betrayal. I'd seen Ethan angry before, over lost games, over Dad's lectures, but this was different. This was personal. "I didn't mean for it to happen," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Noah figured out I wasn't you. We talked, and I don't know Ethan. It just happened." He laughed, a bitter sound that cut deeper than his words. It just happened. You're telling me you're into him now? My boyfriend. The word boyfriend landed like a stone. Ethan had never said it out loud before. Not to me, not to anyone. It was an admission, raw and unguarded, and it broke something in me. I'm sorry, I said, but it fell hollow. Ethan shook his head, grabbing his bag and storming out, leaving me with the echo of his footsteps and my own guilt. At home, things got worse. Ethan barely spoke to me, his silence louder than any argument. Our parents noticed the tension, but chalked it up to teenage moodiness. I wanted to fix it, to go back to the way things were, but Noah's face kept creeping into my thoughts. I was caught between my brother and the boy who saw me for me, and every choice felt like a betrayal. By Friday, rumors started spreading at school. Ashwood was small, and secrets didn't stay buried long. Someone had seen me and Noah at the lake, too close, too late at night. Whispers follow me in the halls. Freak, queer, words that stung but weren't new. I'd heard them before, but now they carried a weight I couldn't ignore. Ethan heard them too, and I saw the fear in his eyes, the same fear I'd carried since coming out to him. Noah found me at lunch, sitting alone under the oak tree in the courtyard. You okay? He asked, sitting beside me. His presence was a comfort, but it also felt like a fuse ready to ignite everything. No, I admitted. Ethan knows. The whole school's starting to talk. This is going to ruin everything. Noah's hand brushed mine, a fleeting touch that sent warmth through me. Let them talk, he said. You're not alone in this, Lucas. I'm here. His words were a lifeline, but they couldn't erase the dread pooling in my chest. Ashwood wasn't just a town. It was a pressure cooker, and we were about to boil over. That night, Ethan finally spoke to me, his voice low in the dark of our room. I didn't want this, he said. I thought I could keep it separate. Noah, me, this town. But you made it real. He paused. I heard the crack in his voice. Do you love him? I didn't answer. I couldn't. But the silence was answer enough, and it drove a wedge between us that no twin bond could bridge. The weekend was a blur of avoidance. Ethan at football practice, me hiding in my sketchbook, the house heavy with unspoken words. By Monday, the rumors had grown claws. At school, I found my locker spray painted with a slur, the red paint dripping like blood. Ethan saw it too, his face pale as he stood beside me, but he didn't say a word. He just walked away, leaving me to face the stairs alone. Noah was waiting for me after class, his expression fierce. We need to talk, he said, pulling me into an empty classroom. This is getting out of hand. I heard what they're saying about you. About us. There is no us. I snapped, the words sharper than I meant. This was a mistake. I never should have gone to the lake. But even as I said it, my heart ached. Noah's face fell, but he didn't back down. You don't mean that, he said, stepping closer. I know you don't. Lucas, I see you. Not Ethan, not the twin, but you. He reached for my hand, and I let him, the warmth of his touch grounding me in the chaos. We can face this together. But together was a fantasy. That night, Ethan came home with a black eye, his knuckles bruised. Some guys from the team, he muttered when I asked. They heard about Noah. Thought I was like you. The words stung, but the pain in his eyes was worse. Ethan wasn't just fighting the town. He was fighting himself. I couldn't take it anymore. I drove to Noah's house, a small rental on the edge of town, and poured out everything. Ethan's fear, my guilt, the way this town was tearing us apart. Noah listened, his hand steady on mine, and when I finished, he kissed me. It was soft, tentative, but it set my soul on fire. For the first time, I didn't care about Ethan or Ashwood or the consequences. I just wanted this. But reality crashed in the next morning. Ethan was gone. His bed was empty, his car missing. Panic gripped me as I called his phone, only to get voicemail. I found a note on his desk. I need space. Don't follow me. My heart sank. I'd pushed him too far, and now I'd lost him. Noah helped me search, driving through Ashwood's quiet streets, checking the lake, the diner, anywhere Ethan might go. We found him at the old quarry, sitting on the edge, staring into the void below. "Ethan," I call, my voice shaking. He didn't look at me. "I can't do this anymore," he said, his voice hollow. "I thought I could be what everyone wanted, Dad, the team, this town. But I can't. And you're braver than me. Lucas, you always have been." I sat beside him, Noah a quiet presence behind us. "You don't have to be anything," I said. "Just be you." For the first time, I saw my twin, not the golden boy, but the scared, broken kid he'd hidden all along. The quarry was silent, except for the wind, carrying the weight of Ethan's confession. I reached for his hand, but he pulled away, his eyes fixed on the horizon. Noah stood back, giving us space, but his presence was a quiet strength I clung to. "I'm not like you," Ethan said, his voice raw. "I try to be. I try to love Noah the way you do, but I was lying to myself. To him. To everyone." He looked at me then, tears streaking his face. "I'm sorry I made you do this. I thought you could fix my mess, but I just made yours worse." My throat tightened. "You're my brother," I said. "I'd do anything for you, but you have to stop running." He nodded, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of the twin who'd always had my back. We drove home together, Noah following in his car. Ethan didn't speak, but the silence wasn't hostile anymore. It was a start. At home, we sat our parents down and told them everything. Ethan's struggle, my feelings for Noah, the truth we'd both hidden. Mom cried, Dad was silent, but they didn't turn us away. It wasn't acceptance, not yet, but it was a crack in the wall. The next weeks were hard. Ethan came out to the team, losing some friends but gaining others who stood by him. I faced the slurs at school, but Noah was there, his hand in mine, a quiet defiance against Ashwood's judgment. We weren't just a couple. We were a statement, a refusal to hide. Ethan found his own path, joining a support group in the next town, learning to accept himself. He and Noah talked, clearing the air, and though it was awkward, they found a way to be friends. I watched my twin grow, not into the golden boy, but into someone real, someone I was proud of. By spring, Noah and I were planning to leave Ashwood for art school in Philadelphia, a place where we could be ourselves without fear. Ethan decided to stay, to fight for change in the town that had tried to break us. "Someone's got to make this place better," he said, a spark of his old confidence returning. I hugged him, knowing we'd always be tethered, no matter the distance. The night before I left, Noah and I went back to the lake, the place where it all began. Under the stars, he kissed me, and I felt the burn of that first night, not as pain but as hope. We'd faced a town, a brother, a world that didn't understand us, and we'd come out stronger. Love wasn't just romance. It was courage, sacrifice, and the will to keep going. As we sat there, hands entwined, I realized what burned inside me wasn't shame or guilt anymore. It was the fire of being seen, of being loved, of being me. And that fire would carry me forward, no matter what came next.